Hello, flute players! This video is to help you through the second song in Bruno Mars's greatest hits, When I Was Your Man. So we'll talk about all the rhythms, the counting, everything like that, and we'll be starting with When I Was Your Man. That's the only song we'll do in this video. Check out my other videos for the other songs. This is the first flute part, so if you're looking for the second flute part, go ahead and check out one of Mrs. Kuminato's videos on this, and she can help you out with that. So let's get started. When I Was Your Man is a really, really slow song. It's a ballad. So the tempo is slow, so we have to really make sure that we're counting not only our quarter notes, but we need to be subdividing and counting our eighth notes. So when I count something like this, I'm thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all the time, constantly, just always eighth notes. And that makes it so much easier when you get to the 16th notes, because then you're just dividing your eighth notes one more time. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So that helps us not get overwhelmed with our 16th notes. Let's look at this very beginning. Now the song actually starts with 2 pickup eighth notes right before in measure 48. So we have to back up to those pickup notes and measure 48. G, A, C, B, C, B, A, B, A. And it really does go that slow. Lots of times we think that 16th notes go fast just because they're 16th notes, but 16th notes only go fast if the tempo is fast. If the tempo is slow, 16th notes can feel like they're eighth notes, which is kind of what's happening here. So double check, make sure we're using B natural, so our thumb has to be over here, first finger and pinky, no right hand first finger, it has to be B natural through this entire song, no B flats. That is our number one thing that we're not going to want. Next we have E naturals, thumb, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and pinky. E naturals, and then we have both F sharp, with our added ring finger, and F natural. So let's try playing from those 2 pickup eighth notes until 55, and we'll stop right at 55. So I'll give you 1, 2, 3, and we'll start on beat 4. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And we'll stop right there. We're going to do that one more time because we need to talk about just a couple of things. In measure 50, we have an eighth rest. Now, we have an eighth rest followed by a quarter note. And since it's a quarter note, we might automatically think that that's on a beat, but the eighth rest is right after a half note. So the eighth rest is on beat 3. That quarter note is on the and of 3, and then our last eighth note is on the and of 4. The next thing I want to talk about is breathing. For breathing, we want to make sure that we're taking breaths only when they make sense. So that's not to say that we need to be breathing as little as possible, but it would make sense to take a breath where that eighth rest is. And then it would make sense if you need it to take a breath after the whole notes. So we're kind of separating our phrase into these mini phrases. If you can make it all the way from the eighth rest to the end of that second whole note, that's awesome. But I'm going to take a breath there, so you can take a breath there too. Let's try playing that intro section again. So pickups to 49, all the way to 55. 1 and 2 and 3. And then we're at measure 55. So we do not have the melody here. Do you know who has the melody here? I think it's the saxophone. So we have to really make sure we're listening to whoever has the da 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 da. And we have our added kind of ornaments to that. So we add a little bit of flute sparkle where the saxes aren't playing as many notes. So counting our rests is really important here, and also ending our long notes together. So if we have a dotted half note, we take that all the way to the downbeat of beat 4. So 1, 2, 3, off. Right on that quarter rest. And then if we're coming in after a quarter rest and an eighth rest, we're coming in on the and of 2. Now, once again, another reminder that every note in here is a natural note. So A naturals, F naturals, B naturals, any other note that you can think of, it's a natural note in this section. Let's try counting all of those rests, starting at measure 55, all the way to 63. 1, 2, 55. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 4, 1 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're at measure 63. While we're here, make sure that you have a repeat marked from, I'll hold my music up so you can see it, from on your second page, right on this bar line between these two notes, you're going to repeat back to measure 55. So make sure you have that marked into your music. Now, let's move on to measure 63. We start with 2 quarter notes, that's easy to count, 1, 2, and then we have eighth note, quarter note, eighth note. And how we count this whole measure is 1, 2, 3, and then we're off on beat 3 with that half note. Now we come in 1/8 note before the start of measure 65 with a tied. So we have and 2 and 3 and 4 and So make sure you're holding that 8th note tied to the other 8th note from the and of 4 all the way until your next 8th note at the and of 1. Then keep counting your rests because we have 8th notes and half notes coming up, and we won't count those 4 measures of rests right now. We will move on from that for now. So we'll start at measure 63 and we'll end at measure 70. We're not going to count those rests. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and ready, play. Two, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And then we're at our rests. So another thing to really look out for is in this section we started adding these kind of lines over our notes. Those are tenuto lines. So those are going to be a little bit longer of a note than the notes that we've been playing in maybe just the way you are. So we have to focus on these tenuto marks, and then also that and of 4 and measure 63, we have this kind of an accent mark. So we're going to hit it a little bit harder with our tongue, and then we go back to the slurs after that. Let's try this section one more time. 1, 2, ready, go. Two, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. and we're at our rests. So let's move on to measure 74. It's exactly the same as our beginning of this section, except we don't have those pickup notes. And then we're going to repeat back to measure 55 after our first whole note. So let's try 74. We'll play all the way to the end, and then we'll go back to the beginning of this song and play all the way through with the repeat. Measure 74. 1, 2, ready, play. All right, let's back up all the way to the pickups to measure 49, and we'll play all the way through. Don't forget to take your repeat. Let's see how it goes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 63. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 63. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. And you just finished our second song of Bruno Mars. We're done with When I Was Your Man. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please check out another one. Have a great day!